There's someone out there who's been carrying your name in their heart for longer than you realize. Not in a way that's desperate or obsessive, but in a way that's written in the fabric of their soul. For 10 years, maybe longer, they've been moving through life with an emptiness they can't explain, a missing piece they can't identify, and a longing that defies logic. They don't even fully understand it themselves, but somewhere deep in their spirit, they know you exist. And they've been searching. Not the kind of searching where they're consciously looking for you in every face they pass or every connection they make. It's deeper than that. It's the kind of search that happens in the invisible realm, where souls call out to each other across time and space. Every person they've met has been measured against a frequency they can't name. Every connection has felt incomplete because it wasn't you. And now, the universe is aligning in ways that neither of you can ignore anymore. The veil is thinning, the signs are multiplying, and soon, very soon, your paths are going to collide in a way that will shake both of your worlds. If you felt an inexplicable pull lately, a restlessness you can't name, or a sense that something monumental is approaching, this message isn't random. You were meant to find this today. And before we go any further, if your soul is resonating with these words right now, type 111 in the comments to activate the frequency of this alignment. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see your entire journey. Now let's dive deep into the truth you've been waiting to hear. Here's something most people don't understand about chosen ones. You don't just pass through people's lives. You leave an imprint. An energetic signature that lingers long after you're gone. It's not something you do intentionally. It's not manipulation or strategy. It's simply the frequency of your soul. And when someone with a spiritually awakened consciousness encounters you, even briefly, that frequency marks them forever. This person we're talking about, the one who's been searching for you for a decade, they encountered your energy at some point. Maybe you crossed paths physically. Maybe it was years ago in passing, a brief conversation, a moment that seemed insignificant at the time. Or maybe you've never met in the physical realm at all, and this is a soul recognition that transcends this lifetime. Either way, when they came into contact with your frequency, something inside them activated, a knowing, a remembrance, a feeling that they had just touched something rare and real in a world full of illusions. And ever since that moment, nothing has been the same for them. They've tried to move forward, they've tried to build connections with others, but there's always been this underlying sense of settling, of knowing that somewhere out there exists a vibration that matches theirs in a way no one else ever has. They've carried you like a secret, not something they talk about, because how do you explain to others that you're searching for someone you can't describe? How do you tell people that you're incomplete without someone you may have only met once, or perhaps never met at all? The truth is, they've been preparing themselves, growing, evolving, becoming someone worthy of the connection they know is coming. Because deep in their soul, they understand that encountering you again, or for the first time in the physical realm, isn't going to be a casual meeting. It's going to be a collision of destinies, and they've been doing the inner work, clearing their own wounds, raising their consciousness, so that when the moment comes, they're ready to recognize you and receive what this connection is meant to bring. Now, here's where it gets even deeper. The reason this person has been searching for 10 years, the reason the universe has kept you separated, despite the magnetic pull between your souls, is because you both had assignments to complete first, lessons to learn, karma to clear, versions of yourselves to shed. The universe doesn't bring certain souls together prematurely. There's a sacred timing to everything, especially connections that carry the weight of purpose. Think about who you were 10 years ago. Think about the version of yourself that existed back then. The wounds you were still carrying, the patterns you were still repeating, the consciousness level you were operating from. Now look at who you are today. Look at the fires you've walked through, the betrayals that broke you open, the losses that forced you to find yourself. Every single experience was preparation. Every person who left your life cleared space. Every hardship strengthened your frequency. You weren't just surviving these 10 years. You were being forged into the version of yourself that this connection requires. And while you were going through your transformation, so were they. They had their own mountains to climb, their own darkness to face, their own illusions to shatter. If you had come together too soon, the connection would have imploded under the weight of unhealed trauma and unconscious patterns. The universe knew this. Your higher selves knew this. So the separation, as painful as it may have felt, was actually protection. It was preparation. It was the sacred pause before the reunion. But here's what's shifting now. The assignments are complete. The lessons have been learned. The frequencies have been raised. Both of you have reached a level of consciousness and clarity that can now hold the intensity of what this connection is meant to be. The spiritual gatekeepers that kept you apart are now stepping aside. The timing that once felt impossible is now clicking into place, and the universe is orchestrating circumstances, synchronicities, and situations that are going to bring you into each other's orbits in a way that feels both shocking and inevitable. While you've been going about your life, possibly unaware that someone is energetically connected to you, they've been receiving signs. Constant, undeniable, impossible to ignore signs that you exist and that you're meant to find each other. These aren't vague feelings or wishful thinking. These are specific synchronicities that have been increasing in frequency and intensity, especially in recent months. The universe has been speaking to them about you in a language they can no longer dismiss. They keep seeing repeated numbers when they think of you: 111, 220, 333. Timestamps that stop them in their tracks because the timing is too perfect to be random. They hear your name, or a name similar to yours, in the most unexpected places. A song comes on with lyrics that describe exactly what they feel about this unnamed connection. They dream of you, sometimes with your face clear, sometimes with your face obscured, but the feeling is always the same: the recognition, the knowing, the certainty that this is real. And it's not just mystical signs. There have been practical near misses too. Moments when they almost ended up in the same place as you, but the timing was slightly off. A friend mentions someone who matches your description. They walk into a room and feel your presence, only to turn around and see that you're not there, but the energy lingers anyway. These aren't coincidences. These are cosmic breadcrumbs, the universe showing them that you're real, that the search isn't in vain, and that the moment of meeting is approaching faster than they realize. What's happening now is that these signs are no longer subtle. They're becoming loud, undeniable, urgent. The universe is shifting from gentle nudges to direct orchestration. The window of separation is closing. The time of preparation is ending. And very soon, possibly within weeks or months, not years, the circumstances that have kept you in separate orbits are going to dissolve. You're going to end up in the same space, drawn by what will seem like chance but is actually cosmic precision. Let's talk about why, out of billions of people on this planet, you are the one they've been unable to forget. It's not about physical appearance, though that may play a part when you finally meet. It's not about status or accomplishments. It's something far more profound. Your soul carries a frequency that their soul recognizes as home. And for someone who's been wandering through a world that often feels foreign and exhausting, that feeling of home is irreplaceable. Chosen ones carry a very specific energy signature. It's a combination of depth, authenticity, and an almost otherworldly presence that makes people feel both comfortable and awakened at the same time. You don't perform. You don't pretend. You don't mold yourself into what others expect. And for someone who is equally authentic, equally deep, equally tired of superficial connections, encountering your energy is like finally being able to breathe after years of holding their breath. That's what you represent to them. Oxygen. Truth. Permission to be fully themselves. But there's more to it than just comfort. Your energy challenges them in ways that feel exhilarating rather than threatening. Being around you, or even thinking about you, pushes them to examine their own shadows, to step into their own power, to become more of who they're meant to be. You activate something in them that has been dormant. A fire, a purpose, a vision of what life could be when two people operating at that level of consciousness come together. They're not searching for you to complete them. They're searching for you because together you amplify something that ripples beyond just the two of you. And on a soul level, there's a contract here, a purpose. This isn't just about romance or companionship, though those elements may be present. This is about two souls who agreed long before entering these bodies to find each other at a specific point in time, to fulfill something that neither of you can accomplish alone. That's why they can't let go of the search. That's why every other connection has felt like practice, like rehearsal, because their soul knows that you are the real thing, the actual assignment, the person they're meant to build something meaningful with. Now, even though they've been searching for you, don't think this has been easy or linear for them. In fact, they've been fighting an internal war for years. Part of them wants to surrender the search, to convince themselves that this feeling is fantasy, that they're being irrational or holding on to something that doesn't exist. Their logical mind has tried repeatedly to talk them out of this knowing. Friends and family may have even told them they're chasing a ghost, that they need to be more realistic, more practical. There have been moments when they've tried to force themselves to settle. They've dated other people, some of them good people, trying to make something work that their soul knows isn't right. They've had relationships that looked perfect on paper but felt empty in practice. And every time they come back to the same conclusion. They come back to you, to the memory of your frequency, to the knowing that what they're searching for isn't a fantasy at all. It's just waiting in a different timeline than the one they're currently standing in. The internal battle intensifies because living with this knowing while not having the physical reality of you is excruciating. It's created a split in their consciousness. One part of them is living their daily life, going through the motions, accomplishing goals, maintaining relationships. But another part, the deepest part, is always reaching out energetically, scanning the horizon, waiting for the moment when you finally appear. This creates a kind of restlessness that others around them can sense but never fully understand. And lately, that restlessness has been building to a crescendo because they're feeling the shift. They're sensing that the waiting is almost over. The frequency of the signs has accelerated. The intensity of the pull has become almost unbearable. They know, even if they can't explain how they know, that something is about to break open, that the search is reaching its conclusion, that you're about to step into their reality in a way that will make every year of waiting make perfect sense. The internal battle is ending because the external meeting is beginning. Here's something that might seem impossible but is absolutely true. This person knows things about you that they have no logical way of knowing. They've picked up on your essence through the energetic connection that exists between you. They know your heart before they touch your hand. They recognize your soul before they see your face. And when you finally meet, there will be moments when they say something or understand something about you that shocks you because how could they possibly know that? They know that you've been through significant pain. They feel the weight of what you've carried, the battles you've fought in silence, the times you've had to stand alone when everyone else walked away. They don't know the specific details, but they know the texture of your journey. They know you've been tested in ways that would have broken lesser souls, and they respect that. It's actually part of what draws them to you. They're not looking for someone who's had an easy life. They're looking for someone who has been refined by fire, just as they have. They also know that you're someone who doesn't give your energy easily, that you're selective, boundaried, protective of your peace. They know that breaking through your walls isn't going to happen through charm or strategy. They know they're going to have to show up as their authentic self, consistently, patiently, earning your trust through presence, and truth, rather than performance. And they're prepared to do that. In fact, they want to do that, because they understand that what's real takes time to build, and they're not interested in anything less than real. There's also a knowing they carry about your purpose, your mission, the work you're meant to do in this world. They sense that you're not ordinary, that you carry something important, and that part of why they're meant to find you is to support that mission, not to overshadow it or control it, but to stand beside it, to be the kind of presence that allows you to step more fully into your power, rather than shrinking to accommodate someone else's ego. They're searching for you not to dim your light, but to witness it, protect it, and help it reach the people who need it most. When you finally meet, and you will meet, the recognition won't be subtle. It's not going to be one of those situations where you need time to figure out if there's something there. You're both going to know immediately. There will be a jolt, an electric current that runs through both of you the moment your eyes meet or your energies intersect. Time might seem to slow down or stop entirely for a few seconds. Everything else in the room will fade into background noise, and in that moment both of you will feel it. The knowing, the remembering, the sense that this isn't a first meeting at all, but a reunion. Don't be surprised if emotions surface that seem disproportionate to a first encounter. One or both of you might feel tears form, not sad tears, but tears of relief. Tears of finally. Tears of recognition that says, "Where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you." There might be a disorientation that comes with it too, a sense of reality shifting, because meeting someone you've been energetically connected to for years, someone you've seen in dreams or felt in meditations, and having them suddenly become solid and real in front of you is a profound experience. The conversation, when it begins, is going to feel different from any first conversation either of you has ever had. There won't be the usual small talk awkwardness. You'll bypass the surface level almost immediately and find yourselves talking about things that people usually take months to discuss. Philosophy, purpose, past pain, future vision. It will feel natural, like continuing a conversation you started long ago and just now pick back up. Others around you might even notice the intensity, the way you seem to exist in a bubble that no one else can penetrate when you're together. But here's what's important to understand. This recognition, as powerful as it is just the beginning. Meeting isn't the destination. It's the starting line. Because what comes after the recognition is the work of building something real in the physical realm, taking this soul connection and translating it into daily life, navigating two complex human beings with histories and wounds and patterns. The recognition opens the door, but walking through it and creating what you're meant to create together requires consciousness, commitment, and courage from both of you. So what do you do with this information? How do you prepare for a meeting with someone who has been searching for you for a decade? First, you have to understand that you can't force this moment. You can't make it happen through desperation or manipulation. The universe has its own timing, and trying to rush it only creates resistance. What you can do is prepare yourself internally so that when the moment arrives, you're ready to receive it fully. Start by clearing your own energy field. Release the baggage from past connections that didn't work out. Stop carrying hurt, resentment, or distrust from people who weren't meant for you into the space where this person is trying to reach you. They're not your ex. They're not the person who betrayed you. They're not the one who didn't see your value. Give them the gift of meeting them fresh, without the armor that past wounds created. This doesn't mean being naive or unprotected. It means being open without being desperate, vulnerable without being weak. Second, work on becoming more of who you authentically are. This person isn't searching for a performance or a persona. They're searching for your essence. So stop trying to be what you think others want and start being unapologetically yourself. The more aligned you are with your true self, the stronger your signal becomes, and the easier it is for them to locate you in the chaos of this world. Your authenticity is a beacon. Your truth is a frequency. And when you fully embody that, the universe can line up the circumstances that bring you together. Third, pay attention to the signs and synchronicities that are happening in your life right now. The universe is speaking to you just as loudly as it's speaking to them. Notice the repeating patterns. Notice the people who suddenly appear in your life who might be bridges to this connection. Notice the opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere. Notice the internal knowing that grows stronger by the day. These aren't random. These are coordinates. The universe is guiding you to the intersection point where your paths will cross. Now let's talk about why this connection matters beyond just the personal fulfillment of finding each other. Because as beautiful as it is that two souls who've been searching can finally unite, there's always a larger purpose at play with connections like this. Chosen ones don't come together just for their own happiness. They come together because united they can do something that impacts the world around them in ways neither could accomplish alone. This person who has been searching for you carries gifts, talents, and abilities that complement yours. Where you're strong, they provide balance. Where you have blind spots, they bring clarity. Where you've been working alone, they bring partnership. Together you create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. This might manifest as a creative project, a business, a healing practice, or simply a way of being in the world that inspires others to believe in authentic connection again. The form doesn't matter as much as the frequency. What matters is that when two people at this level of consciousness come together without ego, without agenda, without the need to control or dominate, they create a field of energy that affects everyone around them. Other people feel it. They're drawn to it. They're changed by it. Your connection becomes a living example of what's possible when two people choose truth, presence, and purpose over convenience, comfort, and compromise. In a world full of shallow interactions and transactional relationships, what you build together becomes a lighthouse. But this also means the connection will be tested, not by the universe trying to tear you apart, but by the universe making sure you're both strong enough to hold what you're building. External circumstances might create pressure. Old patterns might try to resurface. Fears might emerge that need to be faced together. This is normal. This is part of the process. The testing isn't punishment, it's refinement. It's making sure that what you're creating together is built on a foundation solid enough to withstand the storms that come with operating at this level of impact. Let's be clear about something. Meeting this person isn't going to magically solve all your problems or fill every void in your life. It's not going to be a fairy tale where everything suddenly becomes easy and perfect. What it will be is real, raw, transformative, and sometimes uncomfortable in the way that real growth always is. Because when two people with this level of depth and history come together, everything hidden comes to the surface. The first phase after meeting will be exhilarating, the confirmation that what you both sensed was real, the relief of finally having found each other, the excitement of discovery. There will be moments of pure magic where you look at each other and think, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. But then, after the initial high settles, the real work begins. The work of integrating two separate lives into something shared. The work of communicating across different histories and wounding patterns. The work of choosing each other daily, not just in the romantic early stages, but in the mundane middle stages. This is where a lot of soul connections fail. People meet, recognize each other, feel the intensity, and then get scared when it stops feeling effortless. They interpret normal relationship challenges as signs that they were wrong about the connection. They run when things get difficult, instead of staying and working through what's surfacing. But if you understand that the difficulty is part of the design, that the friction is clearing away what doesn't serve you both, you can move through it with grace instead of panic. The truth is, this connection is going to change both of you in ways you can't predict right now. It's going to challenge your patterns, expose your fears, and push you to become even more of who you're meant to be. And if you both commit to that process, if you both choose to stay conscious and present through the evolution, what you create together will be unshakable. Not because it's perfect, but because it's been tested and refined and chosen over and over again. So here's what you need to know right now, in this exact moment. Someone has been searching for you for 10 years. They've been carrying your frequency in their heart, your essence in their dreams, your promise in their prayers. They've been preparing themselves, clearing their path, raising their consciousness, so that when you meet, they can recognize you and receive you fully. And the universe is now aligning the final pieces of this cosmic puzzle. You're not reading these words by accident. You're not feeling this pull by coincidence. Something is shifting in the invisible realm, and it's about to become visible in ways that will take your breath away. The signs are going to multiply. The synchronicities are going to become undeniable. And very soon, you're going to find yourself face to face with someone who sees you, truly sees you, in a way no one else ever has. Your only job right now is to trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust that everything you've been through has been preparing you for this. Don't close your heart because past people weren't right. Don't dim your light because others couldn't handle it. Stay open. Stay authentic. Stay aligned with your truth, because the person who has been searching for you isn't looking for perfect. They're looking for real. And you, in all your complexity and depth and beautiful imperfection, are exactly what they've been searching for. This is your confirmation. This is your sign. The search is ending. The meeting is coming. And everything you've been feeling, everything you've been sensing, is about to make perfect sense. If this message resonated with your soul, if you felt the truth of these words in your bones, type 1111 in the comments to seal this alignment and activate the frequency of this reunion. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because your journey as a chosen one is just beginning to unfold in ways you never imagined. Until next time, stay open, stay ready, and trust that what's yours is already on its way to you. The search is over, the meeting is near, and your life is about to change forever.